Hi everybody, this is Dennis from the Dennis and Andy Show. I'm going to do a full review of Blade Runner Origins by Titan Comics, issues 1 through 3. It's by K. Perkins, MELLOW BROWN, Mike Johnson. So the basis of the story is early in the 21st century, the Tyrell Corporation, which we all know from the movies, advanced robotics evolution into the Nexus phase. A being virtually identical to a human known as a replicant. Superior in strength and agility, the replicants were created and used as off-world slave labor in the hazardous, high collateral combat situations or colonization of other planets. Now on Earth, the Nexus 4 replicants have been adapted for social elites to own for industry and service work. But Tyrell Corporation continues to experiment with further enhancements because progress stops for no man. So we're going to start off with issue number 1. This is the Art Germ cover, which you all know I'm a big fan of Art Germ. And like I said, it was Perkins, Brown, and Johnson that wrote it. Fernando Dagnin did the art. And then it kind of talks about what we were just talking about, the prelude. This is Los Angeles, 2009. I love the art when it starts out. There's some kind of a combat situation going on. You find out he's like, I'm coming back. I've cleared it down. Don't hog all the fun, Captain. Say thanks to Tyrell for me. So apparently, in this situation, Tyrell sent something to him, and they're like, is that a bomb? But we're not supposed to use this in case of a last resort. Well, lots of blood, lots of screams later. We see what was in it. It wasn't a bomb. It was a couple of replicants. And she walks up and she's like, you're welcome. And now we go fast forward to Los Angeles, 2009. You can see there's a detective that we get introduced to. This is a great, mainly 2-page shot here. Again, for fans of the movie of Blade Runner, it's very reminiscent. I just love it. The lens flares that they create in the light, how it filters in through the sky. Very reminiscent. I thought this was just a great job. You find out that there's a detective here. And Detective Moreaux, and there's been a murder, so he gets assigned to the case. And then you find out that Tyrell Corporation is building a brand new headquarters. Nobody's been allowed inside of Tyrell. If you don't work for Tyrell Corporation, you don't get let inside. Unless, of course, you're a detective and there was a murder. And she's hanging there, apparently suicide, and who found her? And she did. My name's Effie, that was her assistant. And he's going to, of course, discuss things and question Effie. And then her name is Laura Stahl. She comes in and she goes, Mr. Tyrell personally requested that I offer you whatever assistance you require. Why don't you take a break, Effie? And he's like, but I really need to question her since she was the one here. No. So you can tell already that, Tyrell Corporation's going to whitewash all of this. He's trying to explain that seeing the scene firsthand is standard, regardless of discretion. She, of course, is basically trying to bribe him, because that's what Tyrell Corporation does. Basically, he says that there's a sister and, he should do the right thing for her sake. So he's basically kind of threatening her, but he doesn't accept the offer. He's got a friend that they meet. Again, if you think of Daryl Hannah's character from the original Blade Runner movie, that's the part of, downtown that they're in. She's basically saying, don't scratch it. I know there are scratches and I know you're going to itch it. Resist the urge, sugar, because what'll happen to your sister if you don't? So he knows that he should play by their rules and be a corrupt cop, but it's going to be difficult to find out. A guy's sitting there trying to get his attention. He's got information. He goes, "Hey, I'm being followed." He goes, "You're right." And of course, they tried to kill him off back in the apartment. "Hey, detective, it's Effie. Something happened last night. That Lydia died." And then it ends with, it goes, the prototype for the next replicant, the Nexus 5, has escaped. So we know the Nexus 4 was the models that everybody in there, but they actually must have had a prototype for the number 5, which is the new evolution of it. We continue on to issue number 2. I have the Peach Momoko cover. I know she's an interesting artist. And we're going to kind of flip through it. After the apparent suicide of Tyrell Corporation bioengineer Dr. Lydia Kine was determined to be a murder committed by a replicant, LAPD Detective Cal Moreaux is tracking the presumed killer, a Nexus 5 robot. Upon arriving back at his home, Cal finds the brother of the late Dr. Kine, Marcus, waiting for him just as Marcus expresses his suspicions of Tyrell Corporation. He and Cal find themselves under attack by an enemy with strengths beyond that of a human. This is a good opening shot in the next one. And again, just like in the first issue, this even though it's only a 1-page, it's just a really nice opening page. I love the art. It just lends itself to the Blade Runner mythos very, very well. He finds out, he's very sad. His sister had died. But it's pretty interesting. He's being followed. He's asking. So he's in there. He's trying to get the detective's help because he knows something's going on. Effie, so she's talking to Effie, trying to understand. She goes, "You guys were really close." And they're like, "No, we were, but we weren't," kind of thing. She goes, "Well, you're looking for something. Why would she have trees?" She goes, "I don't know why she would have trees." And then she's pressing her. "Then you have no idea that Dr. Kine destroyed her data before she died?" "Destroyed? So I wouldn't bother trying to access her ID or whatever you were just attempting. Our programmers are already working on retrieval. You will grant me the courtesy of being the first to know." So Effie knows that Tyrell Corporation is behind and they're dirty, and she kind of feels like she's locked up. Dr. Moreau brings the brother back to question him. He goes down to the morgue. They're trying to say this is a suicide. He knows it's not a suicide, it's a murder. The police chief is basically saying, if you don't play by the rules, we have no problem giving you up. And then he comes back out upset to question his witness, and it's gone. Somebody talk. Who took my witness? Where is my witness? None of the police officers say anything. And of course, we already knew who it was. Of course it was. Yeah, as we see, as we figured it would be. So, it's Tyrell Corporation behind it. Ilora Stahl has taken him. She's got one of the really cool fancy cars that we've seen, the flying cars. And then she's trying to say, "My hope, Mr. Kine, is that you and I will be able to talk unencumbered. We have reason to believe." And he's like, "Watch out. You can see whoever it is coming at him." Actually pushes the car in midair into the building. They're having to brace. The artwork is great in this. And then it switches back, and then you see Dr. Moreau, or Detective Moreau. "People don't like police around here very much." He goes, "Yeah, but I'm actually from here." Well, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's a good thing. So it's Effie. She's meeting him. She basically lets him know, "I have a disc and a file that will prove it." He's like, "That's really not going to do anything. We need more than what you're providing." And then we switch back, and you can see that he's wounded. He goes, Marcus, take my hand. Do I know you? So we're assuming at this point that it was probably like the replicant, the Nexus 5. And that's where we're going to pick up with the next one here. Growing suspicious of the Tyrell Corporation after a recent replicant attack, they return to the LA Police Department, where Marcus is abducted by the Tyrell Corporation's Ilora Stahl. In a swift response, Cal leaves to question and protect Dr. Kine's protege, Effie. Marcus is rescued from Ilora by a rogue replicant, and that replicant seems strangely familiar. Again, opening shot, they just do a great job of just taking us back to the movies. And I think that, mission accomplished. The artwork is really decent in here. This is all Tyrell Corporation guys that have come into play. He goes, do I know you? Do I still call you Lydia? She's basically explaining that is Lydia, the doctor we saw hanging. That she transferred her essence into a replicant body. And then, he's trying to figure out, why. She goes, because despite your attachment to the name Lydia, that's not who I am. I have never felt like Lydia, even when I was her. You say you're not my sister, or you are my sister. She goes, I am your sister. I'm trying to explain. It's okay. It's me. And so he goes, you're just so selfish. You didn't tell me any of this. You had me believe you had died. And anyway, it's the whole emotional ping pong that's going on right here. She goes, fine, where are you going? To get my friend. And then we kind of switch back. And he says, Miss Stahl, Mr. Tyrell would like to speak with you. I'm on my way there now. No, now. Oh, yes, Mr. Tyrell. So we can see that there's a lot going on, and this goes all the way to the top. You can see the detective is having flashbacks. That's pretty an interesting story, dealing with his sister. He's got Effie. She wants him to come help get the discs, and he goes, what are we going to do with the discs? What good is the disc? What good is any of this stuff? And she's like, well, we can go public with it. Yeah, that's already gone. They basically control the media and everything, and they're expecting that. We need to have a better plan. But she's determined to go get it by herself if she needs to. She calls him a company man, which, really gets at his soul. So then we get back to Lydia and Marcus, and they're still trying to understand. They see a replicant going, and they're having like a fight. And there's something, he goes, did you see that? That is a replicant, but there's something else. And then it continues on. She goes, let me prove to you that I am her. I have all the artwork and all the drawings still in my apartment that I used to do. And he's like, Asa? That's right, you called them Asa. Let me get the drawings and prove it to you. So she's trying to prove that although she's a replicant, she does have all the memories of his sister as when they grew up. We get back to Effie. She goes, you lied to me, Effie. When you walk in, and of course, we already know who it is. It's Ilora. You were close with Lydia Kine. How did you get in here? Where are my files? Basically, she says, we already have the files. If she was so good, we already know what she was up to with her transference. Why would she even need you? I would watch myself if you, Effie, because basically she's saying, we have everything. We cut back. The detective gets home, and he senses something. There is definitely something wrong. The Tyrell Corporation had broken, and they were looking for stuff. And he walks in, but they're all gone. And he knows there's something amiss. So he takes his lighter, which is a really cool scene, lights the fire extinguishers, and of course it makes them turn visible. There's a really cool battle. You can see that he's pretty good. There's an assailant with a weapon up top. he turns around, not even shooting. You can see the boxes too. So you're starting to wonder if there isn't more to the doctor right here. And then in walks the replicant. And that's where this ends. So everybody, this is kind of where I'm going to go. I think this is not what I would call an action-packed story. If you're thinking like superheroes or Star Wars type stuff where you're always battling, you're not going to get that in Blade Runner Origins. What it does do is it provides a fairly well laid out storyline of stuff that happened before the original Blade Runner that allows us to get some insight into what happened before the movie. I think it's well thought out. The characters are believable and they're genuine. I like the story. I think they could have done a little more in terms of a couple of the story arcs a little bit, and maybe fleshed out a few things. And, you know, and I always like a little more action in it. But overall, I think the storyline that they're presenting, the universe as they're trying to create the flavor of going into, it's well done. This is a very good comic book series. On the CGC score, I am going to give it an 8.5, a very fine plus. This is well thought out, well executed. The artwork does what it needs to. And, you know, I think this is going to continue to ramp up as we get more and more. And I'm hoping that it gets even better. So I would definitely make sure this is on your pull list if you're a Blade Runner fan. If you are not, it's still a good story, but it's going to miss some of the context that we as fans ultimately would enjoy, although I still think it's a good story. So anyway, 8.5. What I'd love everybody to do is hit the up button, the like and subscribe for the video. And let me know in the comments below, or you can contact us through Facebook or through the email. And let us know what your thoughts are on this. Good or bad, things you would like to see more of, or something they missed the boat on. Love to talk to you guys about it. We will talk to you all later. Bye.